Good. I had a question here from First John 5, verse
Mm-hmm.
16, and it says, "If you see any brother or sister commit a sin that does not lead to death, you should pray, and God will give them life." I refer to those whose sin does not lead to death. There is a sin that leads to death, and I want to know what that sin is.
There are kinds of sin that lead to death.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in 1 Corinthians 11, it talks about taking the Lord's Supper unworthily. And it said, "For this reason, some of you are sick, and some of you even sleep." That's a metaphor for death, for
Mm-hmm.
being dead. And so some have died. And so clearly taking the Lord's Supper in an unworthy manner, that's in 1 Corinthians 11:30. "This is why many are sick and ill among you, and many have fallen asleep." Uh, and and so there we go. And it's linked here in verse 32, "When we are judged, we are disciplined by the Lord." So a form of discipline, the Lord corrects us. And sometimes the sin is so extravagant that he takes us home. That's what he does. It's not
Wow.
that
So
we're
are
lost, but
so
he
these
takes us home.
like inadvertent sins are like, say somebody slipped and say a curse word,
No, it's
or
not
somebody
talking
who was
about that.
okay.
No, it's talking about, this is something that where they denied they trampled underfoot the significance of the Lord's Supper by abusing it. That's what was going
Okay.
on in 1 Corinthians
Okay.
11. So there are very serious sins that if a person doesn't, God brings us, kind of deals with us and tries to bring us closer. But ultimately, and I don't know what the point is, but what the Lord does is he brings us home. And what John is saying is, pray for people in sin, but there's sometimes when you see someone on the verge of death, that will take their repentance. In James 5, I think that's what it's talking about. When you call for the elders and the person
Correct.
who they pray for, his sins are forgiven. Not only is he restored to health, but his sins are forgiven. That's not just normal illness. It appears in that context that it's an illness caused by sin.